And Bautista in the outfield, Encarnacion, Scudero, McDonald, and Overbay will form the infield. The veteran Ron Barajas, who has been catching Halladay pretty much consistently all year long, crouches behind the plate for tonight's first pitch.
So here goes Doc, and the first pitch is low and inside on Denard Span. It's time to play some ball at the Rogers Center, and we're thankful that you've decided to join us. Span has had a good series. Last night, doubling twice and scoring once. He grounds this to John McDonald, the second baseman, and 2 pitches in, Halladay has his first out.
We talked about Halladay being undefeated against Minnesota. You know, he also has a save against the Minnesota Twins.
No kidding.
Had that way back early in his career, so looking to go 9-0 against them.
He faces their number 2 hitter, shortstop Orlando Cabrera, who was acquired at the deadline from the Oakland A's. And there is strike 1 from Halladay. If you were with us on Friday, you witnessed a masterpiece. Halladay, a complete game 1 hitter over the New York Yankees. Easily one of his finest performances ever. But for a double to shortstop Ramiro Pena, he may have written himself into the record books.
Looking to go 50 games over 500 here at the Rogers Center.
Here's McDonald. There goes Cabrera. 2 gone.
They haven't lost a beat defensively at second base. Aaron Hill will probably be back on Friday when the club travels to Detroit. But John McDonald, the last 2 nights, have done a nice job defensively, ranging to his right. He made a play yesterday that looked so easy, but it was so tough. That was late in the game. On a ball up the middle like that, he snatched it, made a nice play. You don't lose anything defensively when you play John McDonald in the infield.
He also powered the Jays in the 6th inning with a 3-run home run on the first pitch he saw from John Roush in the Blue Jay victory. A game that Joe Mauer sat out until the end. He came on as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning with 2 out. Tonight, though, he won't crouch behind home. He's the designated hitter. There's a strike, and suddenly Mauer falls behind 0-2. So here comes Halladay again, and that's scorched foul.
You just talked about Halladay's last outing. It was his 13th career shutout. And we know how great Halladay's been in the last 10 years. The guy sitting to my right in the next booth threw 60 shutouts in his career.
Bert Blyleven.
So as good as Halladay has been and all the complete games and everything like that we know about him, he's got a long way to go to catch my man Bert.
That's true. As Mauer goes to left field, there's a surly-looking Halladay who never likes to give up a hit at any time.
Especially after he jumps ahead of the league's leading hitter, 0-2. Mauer has that ability to stay inside that ball and just hit it the other way. Had his 7-game hit streak stopped last night when he pinched hit in the game. He starts one fresh in his first at-bat tonight.
That brings up Justin Morneau. And Morneau doubled in the first run of the game last night, bringing home Jason Kubel. He stands in there on the cusp of 30 home runs and 100 RBIs.
But he comes in here struggling a little bit, Jamie. His last 16 games, just 105, 15 strikeouts. Morneau doesn't strike out a lot. That's why his batting average is so high. Watch where this ball fouls off of Justin. Right off the cheek. Right off the plate.
0-2. As Halladay says, here's the pitch. He runs it inside. One more home run for Morneau, and he'll have 30 for the 3rd time in his career. Harmon Killebrew is the all-time leader in Twins history. He had 8 30-plus home run seasons. And his next RBI will be 100 for the 4th time in his career. Once again, Killebrew did it 7 times. The 0-2 is rolled out toward McDonald. He's got time, goes to first, gets Morneau. And that's the top of the first inning. The Twins lead 1. Here come the Blue Jays. Scudero leads off. In the month of September. Vernon Wells has 5 hits against Carl Pavano, who starts tonight, and 3 of them are home runs. John McDonald, hitting .324 in his last 11 games, had a home run last night. Pitch number 1 from John Roush was deposited over the wall in left field. A 3-run shot, part of a 6-run 6th. And so tonight they go up against Pavano, who's with his 2nd big league team this season.
Yeah, he was acquired from the Indians last month and has made 6 starts for the Twins. He lost his last 2 games, including his last start when he pitched against his former teammates, the Indians, and they beat him 5-2 on Friday. Note the base on balls with Pavano, like Halladay, very low. Between them, they have 60 walks this year between them, so be ready to swing.
First pitch swinging. There's Scudero, and that's a base hit to right field. A good start for the Blue Jays. Their lead man is on. Let's find out a little bit about Carl Pavano.
Well, his fastball is a sneaky fastball. He's got a lot of arms and legs in his windup, and the ball seems to track and get there a little bit quicker than you would think. So it's a sneaky fastball in the low 90s range, maybe about 90, 91. Mixes with that off-speed pitch, curveball and changeup mainly, and batter be ready. We mentioned the walks with just 32. First pitches, batters are hitting .370 against Carl Pavano on first pitches. Scudero will up that with a base hit.
That's ball 1 to Jose Bautista, who bats second again, in place of Aaron Hill, who normally occupies this spot. Time is called. You've already mentioned Pavano's lack of walks. His walks per 9 innings is 1.8, second lowest in the American League, to only the man he opposes tonight, Roy Halladay. As that one is over the heart of the plate, Bautista misses it, 1-1.
You can see how there is some deception, Jamie, in the way that Pavano works the batters. High leg kick, arms and elbows, and all of a sudden the ball's on top of you. The problem with that, when you are in the stretch, is you're going to give up a lot of stolen bases. I think that is a factor in the game that we might see tonight. He has given up 30 stolen bases this year. Scudero picked up a stolen base in last night's game.
He's dancing over there at first. Here's the pitch, and it's popped foul and out of play by Bautista. Bautista gets another start in right field. The old right fielder's having a heck of a time with the Chicago White Sox. Alex Rios, if you've been looking at the box scores, in 22 games is only hitting 154. He's driven in just 3 runs. Didn't even play last night against the Oakland A's. As this one is looped out toward right field, and that ball is foul. Good thing, too, because that man was involved on a fair ball last night, hit in the first inning by Justin Morneau. He'll be stuck on his seat tonight. Pavano with 11 victories this year. His record 11-11. An ERA over 5 as he pitches to Bautista and now checks the runner at first.
You know, when the season started, it didn't look like he was going to get to 11 wins. The way April started for Pavano, he was signed by the Cleveland Indians as a free agent to a 1-year contract. That was back on January the 6th. He made his debut in Texas. And we all know what Texas can do to pitchers if you don't bring your #1 game.
He went around. Down goes Bautista on the appeal to first. Joe West punches him out.
Swinging strikeout for Pavano against Bautista, but the numbers for Pavano, as you see him strike out Bautista, he goes around. Lasted just 1 inning in his first start for his new team, the Indians. He allowed 9 runs on 6 hits. You know, it didn't get any better than that the rest of the month. He finished the month with an ERA just under 10 in 3 starts. But since then, pitched really, really well for Cleveland.
Didn't win his first game until the 1st of May and did so in Detroit. And the Twins thought enough of him to acquire him in hopes of helping them get to the postseason, but they're behind 6.5 in arrears of the division-leading Detroit Tigers.
Well, they've had some injuries to their starting pitching staff. Francisco Liriano threw a simulated game yesterday, threw 42 pitches, and he has been activated off the disabled list, and they have put him in the bullpen. But they were counting on him to be their #1 starter this year. He has been hurt on and off all season long. They felt like they needed to go out and get a veteran pitcher, someone who can help them when they started the month just 3 games behind Detroit. Things haven't worked out so far in the month of September for Minnesota.
Here you look at the co-player of the week in the American League, Adam Lind. And rightly so. He shares the award with Evan Longoria. In fact, after that game he had last Monday in Texas, 8 RBIs, a couple of home runs, a grand slam. As he hits this one to left field, there goes Young. He pulls it down. Lind is gone, and there's 2 away. I think Rance Mulliniks, after the broadcast, said if he doesn't win the Player of the Week award based on 1 game, there's something terribly wrong.
Yeah, he almost could have done it in 1 game. Here's how they'll line up tonight. Young, Span, and Kubel in the outfield. Kubel with just his 10th start at right field for Ron Gardenhire. Cabrera and Punto up the middle. Busher gets the start again at third base with the right-hander on the mound, and Justin Morneau, his usual position over at first base.
Lyle Overbay steps in. Hitting 4th for the Blue Jays tonight. He's been hitting .315 in that spot. Marcos Scutaro led off the inning with a base hit to right field, and he's still there with 2 down.
Did it on the first pitch, too. Now Pavano has come back the next couple of batters. He's gotten ahead, strike 1. Again, batters hitting .370 on the first pitch thrown from Pavano, so you have to be ready.
Jose Morales tries to frame that for Paul Naut. The count 1-1 on Lyle Overbay. There's Scutaro, still held on by Morneau. There goes Scutaro. And a delayed throw. Either Morales wasn't sure or had trouble getting it out of his glove. Either way, it's a stolen base for Scutaro.
Yeah, it has to be Morales didn't have a good grip on that ball. You are taught as a catcher, as soon as you catch the ball and a guy steals, just throw it to the bag. It's up to the infielder to get to second base. You see him kind of double clutch in his hand when he pulled it out of his glove. Shows me that he did not have a good grip on it. It'll go as a stolen base for Scudero.
Overbay lines it, and it's caught by Morneau. A diving stab gets the Twins out of the inning. And that would have been trouble if it got past the Canadian, but it does not. Nice glove save. After one here in Toronto, no score. You're watching the Blue Jays and Twins tonight on Rogers Sportsnet. Comfort zone, enjoying the chairs tonight. Members of the Toronto Mets, who were the co-champions in the province among under 18 teams 2 weeks ago. They tied with the London Badgers for the midget title in this province. Congratulations to them. They're joining us at the ballpark and sitting in the big comfy chairs courtesy of TD Canada Trust, and watching Roy Halladay go to work in the second inning on Jason Kubel. Gets a ground ball to first. Halladay covers. Kubel's out. And there's one gone here in the second inning.
How nice is that? You come to the ballpark, you have front row seats, and you get to watch Halladay pitch against a team that he has just dominated in his career.
Isn't that something? Halladay against the Twins has gone 8-0 in 10 starts, 12 games in total. His ERA 2.77. Had the benefit of starting against the Twins in April at the Metrodome. And in that game, the Blue Jays fashioned a 7-run inning. That night, Halladay went up against Francisco Liriano as Delman Young fouls that back. But they scored 7 times in the 7th inning. Home runs from Kevin Millar, a grand slam, Marcos Scudero in that game, and here are the career numbers.
That'll help him with that 8-0 record, an ERA under 3. Love the whip. That's walks plus hits divided by innings pitched under 1. So he is allowing less than a base runner an inning when he faces the Minnesota Twins.
No player in Major League Baseball since the start of the 0-2 season has more victories than Halladay's 127, as he has that one lined right to Overbay. And the first baseman makes the stab and retires Young.
Payback for Lyle Overbay.
Yeah.
Last inning, runner in scoring position, and he lines one right at Morneau. This time, Delman Young lines one right at Overbay. Doesn't even have to move.
Here is the third baseman, Brian Busher, who watched from the bench last night as Brendan Harris played third. Halladay starts with strike 1. The complete game Halladay threw on Friday was the 46th of his career and 6th of this season. And that one's hit to center field, a base hit. Wells cuts it off quickly. Here comes Busher to second. The throw is late, and he doubles.
Halladay was trying to stay in on Busher, the left-handed batter, but leaves a pitch out over the plate. Busher covers it to right center field. Wells hustling all the way, has a beat on it, cuts it off, but just can't get the throw accurately to second base. There was a chance that he could get him if the throw was a little bit more on line. But Busher has a base hit, the second of the night for Minnesota.
That brings up the catcher, Jose Morales. Morales pinch hit in the ninth last night for Dalman Young and struck out. Jason Frazier picked up the save, his 7th of the year. Ricky Romero the victory. He's got 12 of them. And how about the battle we've got coming up on the weekend in Detroit? On Sunday, Romero goes back to the hill against Rick Porcello. 2 rookies, both of them 12-game winners.
All the matchups in Detroit this weekend are going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Although Halladay has been moved from his start. He was initially scheduled to go on Monday night against Justin Verlander, but he's now going to start the game Tuesday night at Yankee Stadium.
That was going to be a classic on Monday. Verlander versus Halladay on getaway day. Night game, right, in Detroit? I mean, that would have been a lot of fun, but the Blue Jays deciding to give Halladay one extra day this time through will push him back, and David Percy.
That is correct.
Will make that start.
Here he is, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Morales. Barajas sets up outside, strike 3 called, down he goes, and Halladay makes quick work of the Twins again. He gives up a double, that's it. And after 1.5, no score from Toronto. Tonight's game, a lucky contestant wins a 52-inch Sharp Aquos LCD TV with ultra brilliant full array LED backlight and a Blu-ray disc player. Aquos LED, the evolution of LCD TV continues. To enter and find out more, please visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Back at the Rogers Center on a brilliant night. We've got the brilliance of Roy Halladay being opposed by Carl Pabano. Bottom of 2, here's Vernon Wells with 5 career hits against Pabano, 3 of them home runs. Wells is to be followed by Rod Barajas and then Edwin Encarnacion.
Herndon starting to show some signs of coming to life. He had a ball yesterday, a single right back through the middle he stayed on top of. And he was very quick. It was ball about middle in. When I watched him, though, his hands were really good, and he stayed on top of the ball. And his bat was a lot shorter. The swing was shorter and quicker, and he hit it hard back through the middle. That's always a very good sign.
Grounds this one to the left side. He's got a base hit.
He's hit now in 4 games. He's had a good homestand. That is his 7th base hit on this homestand. Doesn't overcommit on a breaking ball from Pavano. Stays still and reaches that outside pitch and pulls it into left field for his first hit. If his legs are feeling fine, I don't anticipate him staying at first base very long.
We'll keep an eye on that. As you've touched on already, Pavano doesn't hold runners well. And Wells leads this team with 15 stolen bases. Perhaps that's part of this conversation.
If I go to my fifth, if I put a fist down, that's a pitch out. Okay, so let's remember that. That's part of the repertoire also. I point my pinky over to first base, that throw over there. Let's keep them honest. There's all kind of ways to mess up the timing of base runners. You can step off and hold the ball, throw over there, obviously, pitch out.
Strike 1 on Rod Barajas. Pavano won 18 games in 2004 with the Florida Marlins. He was an all-star that year. Finished 6th in Cy Young voting that season, as Roger Clemens ended up winning the award with the Houston Astros, and then turned that 18-game season into a massive contract with the New York Yankees.
Those were 2 pretty good years for Pavano down in Florida.
Little roller out to short, and Cabrera takes it himself. He gets Wells and Barajas, and there are 2 away.
You mentioned the 18 wins in 2004. He was a member of the 2003 Florida Marlins team. All they did was win the World Series.
They did indeed.
2 productive years. But since that 2004 season, things have not worked out for Carl Pavano. Signed with the Yankees, and that was a disaster. His number is not very good. Just over 500 with an ERA over 5. Continually injured. Hurt a lot.
Injured, and the word I continued to hear whenever we'd go down there and he was still with the club was that he was just afraid to pitch in New York. I know that sounds a little crazy, but you sign that big contract, huge expectations come with it, and he was afraid to step on that mound and pitch in front of 50,000.
He's not the only guy that has happened to. There are, records of other players signing with the Yankees, and they just couldn't handle it. Ed Whitson comes to mind. He was another pitcher, just couldn't handle it. They got out of there, and they were much better.
Encarnacion grounds out, and that's the 2nd inning. Still no score here at the Rogers Center. 57 here at the Rogers Center. That's the best record in baseball from a home perspective. He loves pitching here. There's little question there. 9-5 so far this year in Toronto. He's pitched some beauties in this ballpark. He faces here in the third inning the number 9 hitter Nick Punto. And he gets a strike. It's 1-1. A game I remember 2 years ago, the 07 season, when he went 7 innings against Mark Burley and the Chicago White Sox here in May. And the Blue Jays got 2 hits against Burley that day. And both of them were solo home runs. One from Aaron Hill, and I believe the other was Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson.
Or it's Frank Robinson. Frank Thomas, pardon me.
Frank Robinson is still.
Yeah, he made a comeback.
Okay.
Solo home runs off Mark Burley, the only 2 hits of the day. Burley didn't walk anybody, and he went the distance. The only time a team has won a game without having an official base runner
was never in the stretch.
Was never in the stretch.
Never in the stretch. And
the Jays won 2-0.
Never had an official base runner. It was never in the stretch.
How about that?
And lost.
Yeah.
I remember that game.
Yeah. We did that game.
We did that
broadcast.
Game. Sure. Those games are fun to do. Burley and Halladay match up against each other because they're both quick workers and they both throw strikes and have a great understanding of pitching. And they're a lot of fun to watch those two go at each other.
There's the 1-2, a backdoor breaking ball, and down goes Punto on strikes.
2 straight batters now have gone down looking against Halladay. Always a good sign when the batter gives up on a breaking ball. And he drops it right on the outside corner. He loves facing the Central Division, Roy Halladay. He has had great success against the teams from the Central Division.
Here he faces Denard Span.
Span has put together a very good year. You see the batting average, .311. And we've been talking the whole series about Joe Mauer and what a great season he has had as that ball's pushed foul.
You know, Halladay against the Central this year is 6-0 with a 2.25 ERA. He's a 2-time 20-game winner. Can you imagine if he pitched in this division regularly?
That's why I will contend. Last year, I thought Roy Halladay was the Cy Young Award winner. I thought he was the best pitcher in all of baseball, simply because his numbers matched up with Cliff Lee, and this is taking nothing away from Cliff Lee as that ball's hit on the right side for an out. But Halladay had to face up against the Yankees. He faced them 6 times and beat them 5 times last year. He faced the Boston Red Sox 5 times and won 3 times. He also faced Tampa, who won the division in the World Series, and he won a couple of games. His ERA was 4, but he still beat them. So he is pitching against some of the best offensive teams in all of baseball, still won 20 games, still had a great ERA of 2.78, taking nothing away from Cliff Lee. I think that alone separates those 2 pitchers last year.
So he could have won 25 games if he'd been playing in the Central Division.
And we're not going to take anything away from the players,
Cliff Lee.
But Cliff Lee beat Kansas City 5 times last year. I mean, that they were terrible last year. Halladay would do the same thing.
Swing and a miss, Orlando Cabrera.
And there's no way to even that out. Cliff Lee pitched in the Central Division last year. There's no way he was going to face the New York Yankees 6 times like Halladay, or 5 times the Boston Red Sox. There's no way to even that out with the unbalanced schedule.
This season, the Blue Jays are 20 games under 500 against Eastern Division teams. They are 8 games above 500 against the Central. 20 victories, 12 losses. Cabrera, the 1-1.
Hey, all you have to do is look around and see where some big offensive teams are in the American League East. And Roy Halladay has to face them 4, 5, sometimes 6 times year in and year out, and he still has great numbers.
And in some cases, like his next start, he's getting backed up to meet the Yankees on their home turf. As he throws the 1-2 to Cabrera, and they appeal. He doesn't go around. He was able to check his swing and stays alive here in the 3rd inning. Breaking ball and a dandy. Down goes Cabrera. And a 1-2-3 inning for Doc. To 222, you receive a $50 SMS discount coupon from Rogers. Use that coupon toward the purchase of a new BlackBerry Bold or Curve 8900 smartphone from Rogers at any Wireless Wave T-Booth retail location throughout Canada. You could not have asked for a better night for baseball. Pull up a chair and join us as we watch the youngster from Mill Creek, Washington, Travis Snider, face Carl Pavano.
You were pretty impressed with Travis Snider standing around the batting cage today, weren't you?
You know, I know he's struggling in his return to the Blue Jays, but to stand around the cage and watch this guy hit, admittedly, batting practice pitches like that. I mean, what a sound. He drills this one to center field, and that's off the base of the wall. Snider stops at second with a double. He's got a different sound.
Yeah.
And I know they're 55 and 60 mile an hour batting practice pitches, but boy, oh boy, does he ever sound different.
Sound is sound, and it's power, just natural born strength in his swing and his hands. Good to see him do this. Take a ball that's going down and away from you and rip it on a line. Short hop to left center field. 375 feet line drive to left field. Good start here. Let's see if the Jays can bring him around. Johnny Mack has been known to push a bunt to the second baseman when there is a runner on second. He is a very good bunter.
That double to left center field looked a whole lot like Snider's first major league hit ever. It came last September at Old Yankee Stadium, and appropriately enough came off Carl Pavano. So Snider is now 4 for 5 in his career against Pavano, who pitches from the stretch. Here's John McDonald, who shows bunt, but the pitch is away, and it's 2-0. McDonald had a heck of a night last night, going 3 for 4 and driving in 3 when he smacked a ball over the wall in left field in the 6th inning, his second home run of the year, a 3-run shot.
Now 11 career home runs. And that one had to feel good. 4 for 7 versus Minnesota this season. And here's that hit. Ask and you shall receive. Right down the line, on a line, which turned out to be the difference in the ballgame. 3-run home run by Johnny Mack.
That's strike 2. McDonald's first home run this season was a monster shot into left field at Yankee Stadium off right-hander David Robertson. That was July the 6th. Two balls and 2 strikes. Man in scoring position is Snyder, and McDonald gets a piece.
Still trying to move that runner even though he has 2 strikes. Early part of the ball game, early part of the at bat, you're trying to move that runner if you're the number 9 hitter. Managers will say that, hey, once you get the 2 strikes, just battle. Just try and get the ball in play, try and come up with a base hit. If you don't move it, we understand. McDonald looked like he was still trying to move him with 2 strikes. You don't get a lot of 3 and 2 counts with Carl Pavano. Just 32 walks coming into this game. Right-handers are hitting .309 against Pavano. That's kind of a surprise with his types of breaking balls that he has.
The payoff is drilled to center field. Snyder tags. Span comes down with it, and it advances the runner. McDonald worked the count a little bit, got a good pitch to hit, and pushes Snyder to third base.
He was talking about being aggressive yesterday, and being aggressive in this at bat pays off for him. Even though he has 2 strikes, he stays hard, aggressive, head right down on that ball. Drives it to center field deep enough for Snyder to tag up and move up. And now the infield has to come in. Runs again are going to be a premium when Halladay is on the mound.
Marco Scutaro is the batter. He takes strike 1. Scutaro didn't waste any time when he came up in the first inning. On the first pitch he saw, he drilled a base hit to right field. He's got Snyder 90 feet away here, and now backs out, calling time. Scutaro is one of 2 free agent to be shortstops in this game. His counterpart, Orlando Cabrera, goes out onto the open market at the end of the year. Both men should be in demand, as that runs inside and he takes a hack. 1-2.
You see the infield in like that, and you're just thinking fly ball deep enough to the outfield. Pick up that easy RBI. Sometimes you get a little antsy, a little.
You don't see Scutaro swing at pitches like that very often.
I think because there's a runner on third and less than 2 outs. A little anxious, and you want to hit the ball. You see that high fastball and you think you can get on top of it, but it's really hard to stay on top and drive that ball deep to the outfield. Foul it back, or you pop it up, or you swing right through it. That's 3 bad things that could happen.
Pavano serves this up. It's popped up. Morales comes over. Busher calls him off and makes the catch.
And that's exactly what Pavano wanted to do with Marco Scutaro. He wanted to get the ball at the top of the strike zone and see if he will bait into swinging at it, because it's hard to do something with that ball up there. Fastball popped up by Scutaro, and he's blowing it, trying to get it foul, wanting to get that one. Give me one more shot at driving that runner in.
Here's Bautista, ball one. Hitting just .224. When he came up with the Montreal Expos, Pavano was a big-time prospect. In fact, he was good enough to be traded for Pedro Martinez. He initially was signed by the Red Sox.
Yeah, came up to the Boston Red Sox organization.
But debuted with Montreal.
Right.
In fact, he was in the history books early on in his career because he gave up Mark McGwire's 70th home run in that fabled year of 1998. We look back on it now and say, oh, it was tainted.
Well,
now
we know, right?
The U.S. and Canada was captivated at the time.
I still remember seeing that in Busch Stadium, Pavano on the mound, and that line drive down the left field line. And that record stood for all of 4 years or something, 5 years.
Yeah, 2001, I think Bonds did 73. And now what does it mean? As that's rolled to short, Bautista grounds out, and a leadoff double by Travis Snyder here in the third goes to waste. So after 3, we're still looking for a run as Roy Halladay comes back out to face the Twins. Supposed to be a nice day. Join us at the ballpark at 12:37 first pitch, and the game involves left-hander Brett Cecil, who makes his final start of the year for the Blue Jays. Scott Baker, a right-hander, goes for the Twins. That will finish up the second to last homestand of the season. The Blue Jays will come back to town and begin a series with the Baltimore Orioles on Monday, September 21st, and that's it. 3 against Baltimore, 4 against Seattle, and the season here in Toronto comes to an end. As you look at Joe Mauer, who said of his swing recently in a Sports Illustrated article that there's not a whole lot going on.
Very quiet. He uses his hands, and this year he's starting to use his body and turn on pitches. That's why you see the 26 home runs.
His swing is so refined and has been for a long time that 1 year in high school baseball in the St. Paul, Minnesota area, he struck out once.
All right, how many at bats do we know? I don't know how many games they can play in the spring in Minnesota because of all
That's true.
the bad weather. But
that's still impressive.
Still, yeah. One strikeout.
1-2 here against Halliday. And he struck out. Well, there's a rare sight. Maurer goes down. And he's the first out of the fourth.
It doesn't happen often, but when Halliday has that really good curveball, the one that he had against the Yankees, even the best hitters are going to swing over the top of it. Maurer collapses and the bat head goes right through the zone. He is trying to win the batting title, his third one, which would be a record for catchers. We'll talk about that later when he comes back up. Justin Morneau, on the other hand, is struggling offensively also. And Ron Gardenhire had a great quote the other day when he was talking about his first baseman getting out of his slump. And he says, all that it is going to take is one big whack from his first baseman. And that means hit a home run, and the feeling will come back for Morneau.
He got a phone call near the end of last year. In fact, after the season had concluded, from Harmon Killebrew. And I guess Justin was in a bit of a sour mood at the end of the year because he slowed down in late September. They lost that one-game playoff against the White Sox, and he wasn't big on answering phone calls as the 0-2 comes in, and he goes after it and strikes out. Down he goes. Anyway, he saw this call come in on his cell, didn't recognize the number, picked it up anyway, and it was Harmon Killebrew, the greatest twin ever.
Yes.
And they chatted. Killebrew gave him some advice, and one of the things he said was, if you're going to hit a whole lot of home runs, stand a little closer to the plate and pull them. Pull the ball more. Think about that. Because I guess that advice had been given to him by the great Ralph Kiner. And Morneau said, I'm comfortable where I am. Thank you, but I'm not sure I'm going to change things just yet. But nice of a Hall of Famer to call.
Take it into consideration, which I'm sure he will, or did. Morneau, though, is just a born hitter. He's just got a great swing. It's refined over years in the minor leagues and everything. And he's got that home run swing, especially in the Metrodome. I think the Metrodome is a great hitter's ballpark for left-handed hitters because it's so short in right field. I asked Bert Blyleven the other day, what is the new ballpark going to do for left-handed hitters? And he thinks that it's going to be good. It's going to be another homer heaven. Not like Yankee Stadium.
Oh, okay. Not like Yankee Stadium. Here's Kubel, who lifts it to left field, and Snyder comes in, slides, and makes the catch. That ball was dying quickly, but Snyder puts it away and takes a base hit away from Jason Kubel. Presented by Sharp Aquos LED, the evolution of LCD TV continues. The roof is open tonight on the Ninth day of the 9th month of the 9th year. What a wonderful night for baseball. And thank you for joining us on Rogers Sportsnet. Here's a fly ball. Adam Lind to right field, and he's out quickly. This is Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler, Sam Cosentino, and our Sportsnet.ca columnist and statistician, Mr. Scott Carson, watching as the Jays and Twins contest game number 3 of a 4-game series.
The pitcher's duel between Pavano and Halladay. Halladay with a little more power, a little more pop to his pitches. Pavano will work quickly and is a little deceptive. Jays have had a couple of chances now through 3 innings. Leadoff single by Wells in the 2nd inning. That was wiped out on a double play. A leadoff double in the 3rd inning, and they couldn't get him in.
This breaking ball is skied to shallow center field. And it's a long way up there, so Span has to wait. 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th.
Span plays a good center field. We were talking last night of the good center fielders that they have had, Bernard Span and Torrey Hunter, Kirby Puckett, and I asked Burt Blyleven today, okay, who played center field before Kirby Puckett? And I just couldn't think of it, so we went back to all the records and everything, and it was Jim Eisenreich.
Jim Eisenreich. Interesting.
If you remember him, Jim Eisenreich came up in the Twins organization as a center fielder. So there's another one. He was an excellent outfielder.
And he ended up playing for the Phillies in the '93 World Series here against the Blue Jays.
That's right.
And had that weird ailment where he...
Tourette syndrome. Yes.
He couldn't play in front of large crowds. Is that what it was?
Yeah. It was Tourette's, and once he got the proper medication, he was fine. He was a very good player. Another ex-teammate
of your
in Kansas
everybody
City.
Is.
Everybody. I think I played with everybody somewhere, Jamie.
Oh my goodness.
But a fine guy, fine young man, and had a good big league career.
Here's a line shot to left field, and Young holds up. It drops for Wells, who's 2 for 2. Because you and Blyleven played together in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, briefly with Cleveland for about a year and a half before he was traded back to Minnesota. Vernon Wells singled his first time up, and then the exact same type of pitch and placement of the pitch away. He's able to get out in front and pull it into left field for a base hit.
So he gets on with 2 out, and that brings up Rod Barajas.
It's a funny thing. Burt Blyleven was traded for Jay Bell, and Jay Bell came up then with Minnesota. And late in that year, we faced Minnesota at the end of the year. Jay Bell's first major league at bat was against Burt Blyleven. First pitch he saw in the big leagues was against Burt, and he homered against him, and it set the record for most home runs given up in a season, the 50th.
There goes Wells. Here's the throw, Morales, and it rolls out into center field as the ball gets away from Punto. So Wells steals his 16th bag of the year and reaches 3rd on an error.
Well, we figured he wouldn't be there that long. That last time after the leadoff single, double play by Barajas, and now with 2 outs, he's going to go right away. Early in the count, steals it easily, and then on to third base as the ball rolls into center field. A 2-out clutch hit now by Barajas will break this scoreless tie.
Pretty close there on the stolen base, guys, with Barajas really standing his ground there and not giving any room for Morales at all to get that ball safely down to the base.
That's a great point, Sam. I noticed that on the replay, that's your batter's box when you're the hitter, and you don't have to get out of the way. You can't impede the catcher trying to throw the runner out, or the batter would be out or the runner would be out. But you can stand there. He has to go around you.
No one knows that better than Barajas, who pops this one up, and a play for Cabrera gets the Twins out of the inning after the single, the stolen base, and the error. That leaves Wells at 3rd, still scoreless here in Toronto.
Bavano. Delman Young set to lead it off here. And look who's in attendance here tonight, sitting by himself enjoying a little popcorn. His brother Dimitri Young, making his way north of the border to check out a little brotherly love.
In fact, Delman was at Dimitri's first ever major league game in 1996. He's no longer in the big leagues. Had a pretty good career, and he watches his little brother, who once upon a time was the first overall pick in the amateur draft by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. In fact, Dimitri was 4th overall to St. Louis when he was drafted in, I believe, 91. So imagine being a 4th overall pick and having a younger brother go higher than you were. That's happened before. The Upton brothers.
The Upton brothers, right.
Justin and BJ.
BJ was number 2.
That's
Justin
right. And Upton.
Justin
was
him.
Yes, that's right.
By being the number 1 overall pick.
The 0-2, and he gets under this, flying to left center field. Over comes Snyder. He watches Wells make the catch, and the young is gone. Hey, just to finish that story, Jay Bell hit the home run off Burt Blyleven, and that set a record
for most home runs at the time given up by a pitcher in one season. That was the 50th. So Jay wanted to get his first major league hit back.
Get the ball back.
Couldn't get it. The guy who caught it knew it was a record and wouldn't give it up.
And he kept it.
And he kept the ball.
They didn't have eBay back then, so it's not like you could just put it on,
right,
on the internet for sale. Poor Jay Bell.
Yeah, didn't get his first big league hit.
Here's a rip to right field, a base hit, Brian Busher. Minnesota has their 3rd hit of the game and first since the 2nd inning. Halladay had set down 8 straight until that knock by Busher.
Doubled his last time up, has Busher. That was a ball over the middle of the plate. That time, same thing. Doc just couldn't get it in there.
Jose Morales is the catcher for the Twins tonight. This is rolled and caught by McDonald. He shovels it to second, and Overbay can't complete it at first. He drops the relay from Scutaro. But good old John McDonald is back at it again, making defensive gems. He just made one there.
That would have been spectacular. In the middle of the diamond, first McDonald getting to it, that makes a good feed to Scutaro, who tries at all at once jump over the runner and throw the ball. It's an in-between hop for Overbay. He can't come up with the dig. Overbay is pretty reliable about that play right there. He's had just 2 errors this year, and he's constantly digging balls out of the dirt. Just cannot come up with it there. That would have been spectacular.
Here's Nick Punto, and he slashes the ball to left, and it drops in front of Snyder, who was well in left field anyway. But that lands in the perfect spot for Punto, and he's got a base hit with 2 out. It looked as if Snyder was already playing shallow.
Yeah, he was playing shallow, but he just can't get to this one. You couldn't throw a ball out there any better than Punto does in front of Snyder.
It brings up Denard Span, the center fielder. 2 on and 2 out here in the 5th inning. A scoreless ball game. 4 hits apiece. And a breaking ball for strike 1 from Halladay.
Been a good year for Span. We talked about that his last time up, hitting .311. He is tied with Joe Mauer for the most multi-hit games this year for the Minnesota Twins. He has had 45 multi-hit games for Minnesota. Has his own unique style of hitting. Right on top of the plate. Chokes up on that bat. Tracks it very deep. And we talked about Snyder playing shallow when Nick Punto's up. He is in the same spot with Denard Span. very shallow in left field. Shading him towards the line a little bit. So if he does get a base hit in the left field, I don't think Jose Morales, the runner at second base, will be able to score.
Halladay sets. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and Span goes down swinging. Doc is dealing tonight against the Minnesota Twins. After 4.5 innings, no score. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet.
Log on to BlueJays.com for your chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to see the Jays in comfort. TD Canada Trust, putting you in the comfort zone.
On the Road is brought to you by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And the Blue Jays hit the road for a three-city road trip beginning Friday night in Detroit, a 4-gamer at Comerica Park, 2 quick games at Yankee Stadium, a day off in Tampa Bay, and then 3 against the Rays, who have fallen off the pace rapidly.
They have, haven't they? I think they've lost 7 in a row now, and their season is just about done. Yankees just running right away with it.
They are. Encarnacion with a belt to center field, and that one hits the base of the scoreboard. Kubel plays it. Encarnacion charging for third. Here comes the relay, and he is safe at third. That ball hit him and got away, and now it gets away from Pavano.
Yeah, I think, Jamie, luckily it hit Encarnacion. If it doesn't, I think there's a shot that the Twins have him, but aggressive play by Encarnacion. Fastball away, and he drives it hard to right center field. And he's thinking 3 right there, right out of the box. Kubel has to run it down and momentarily hits the wall. By that time, Encarnacion has a shot, but you can see it hits him in the shoe, and Pavano wasn't really sure where to back up, if there was going to be a play at third base or not. Doesn't get the proper depth, and it almost costs him. When the ball ricochets off his shoe, it hits the padding right in front of our camera well there. So a triple for Encarnacion, and the Jays are in business.
And 11th triple by a Blue Jay this year. A good start. You know, the Blue Jays had in 4 of the 5 innings so far tonight have managed to get the lead runner on with base hits, but they have not been able to bring anybody home. Here's a great opportunity for the Jays to cash the first run of the game, and Travis Snyder takes strike 1 from Pavano. Snyder doubled in the 3rd.
You know, after that play, Jamie, you see Pavano try to slam the ball into his glove, and it almost rolls into the dugout. If that happens, Encarnacion can walk home.
That came oh so close. Here's the 0-1 pitch inside on Snyder. Snyder with a double in the third is now 4 for 5 in his time against Pavano. His first ever major league hit came against him last year at Old Yankee Stadium. He calls time and steps off. The Blue Jays already 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. As Pavano kicks on the 1-1, and that's sent out of play.
Good pitch to hit right there. A little spinning breaking ball. That's right in Travis Snyder's wheelhouse.
I spoke with Travis today. I said, are there any other big leaguers from your hometown of Mill Creek, Washington? He said 2. Brent Lillibridge of the White Sox and Grady Sizemore, who's going to miss the rest of the season with the Indians. He's brushed back. It's 2-2.
They have stayed inside against Travis Snyder in this at bat. He doubled to left center field on a ball out over the plate. Watch Jose Morales, the catcher. He'll give away what they want to do to him.
Outside, and this is laced to right field, and that gets down. A base hit for Snyder. In comes Encarnacion as Snyder picks up his second double of the ball game and drives home the first run.
That was a mistake. I thought they would just stay right in hard against Travis Snyder. But as soon as Morales slid that left leg out, they were going outside, and Snyder makes them pay. Good plate coverage, good 2-strike approach, and you're right, sound. Got some sound. That ball off the bat of Snyder as he rings his second double, this time to right center field.
Number 45 is able to pick up his second double and his 17th RBI of the year. It gives the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead as John McDonald has Snyder in scoring position. Still nobody out here in the 5th inning. Pavano the kick and the pitch. It's grounded to the right side. Morneau goes to first to get McDonald. This moves Snyder over to third. John McDonald's 0 for 2, but both at bats have been productive.
Right. He followed up those doubles by Snyder by advancing into third base. Now Marco Scudero has a second chance to drive in a run. His last time up, took the first pitch right down the middle for strike one, and I think it had an effect on Marco in that at bat. Seemed to get away from his strength and his game plan when he's at that plate. When that first fastball went by for a strike, eventually popped up to the catcher for a second out.
Pavano on the first pitch throws something off speed and off the plate. Snyder over at third, one away. And the 1-0 pitch from Pavano misses again. It's 2-0.
Pavano's a veteran. He's been around. He knows these situations. He knows his numbers against Scudero in his career. He also knows the numbers against Bautista, the batter on deck. I wonder if he might want to pitch around Marco Scudero here and set up the double play. Maybe he feels like he has a better shot with Bautista, the next hitter, than Scudero.
The 3-0, and Scudero's taking all the way. So he walks him. He'll go back to the slider, and he misses off the plate. First and third for the Blue Jays here. Ron Gardenhire looking on. He knows time is running out on this team to try and make some ground on the Detroit Tigers.
He also knows that Marco Scutaro could take off and steal here to stay out of the double play. It's a big run over there at third base.
First pitch to Bautista. Paints the corner. The Twins are behind by 6.5 games. The Tigers, who lost in Kansas City last night, go at it again tonight with the Royals, and they send 16-game winner Justin Verlander to the hill. That game has likely just gotten underway at Kauffman Stadium. The White Sox were pasted last night by Oakland at home, and they're falling off the pace quickly.
All the moves that the White Sox made
backfired.
have not worked out for them.
It lightened Toronto's payroll, I'll tell you that much. There's the 0-1. Now 0-2 on Jose Bautista, who is playing right field in the absence of Alex Rios. He goes after that breaking pitch and strikes out. It didn't take long. Down he goes on 3 pitches, and Bautista's the second out.
Pavano has a very good changeup. He throws it with the same arm action and out of the same slot as his fastball, but the change really dives down. It fools Bautista. He has struck out for the second time tonight. And now a 2-out hit for Adam Lind to get that run in from third. I say it's a big run, Jamie, because a 1-run lead, the tying run comes to the plate first batter of the inning. And it makes it a lot easier for your starting pitcher to pitch with a 2-run lead. Might not seem like much, but it's a big barrier.
Lind has an RBI in 6 of his last 10 games. A total of 13 over that span. He's tied with Aaron Hill for the club lead with 94. He could break that right now with a base hit against Carl Pavano. But he'll have to do it with 2 strikes. Though that's nothing new for Adam Lind.
Yeah, he has had a great year hitting with 2 strikes.
71 hits, in fact, when he's down to his final strike. There comes the 0-2, and that slider's well inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's Pavano making the 203rd start of his career. And trailing 1-0. The Blue Jays have cashed a run here in the 5th. That ball is rolled to second. Punto has it. He's over to second for the force, and the inning comes to an end after 5. It's the Blue Jays 1, the Twins no score. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. Let's compare the two starting pitchers through 5 innings of work.
6 punch outs already for Halladay through 5. He's given up just 4 hits. The score could be a little bit different if the Jays could hit with runners in scoring position. They've already left 5 runners on base, and they're just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position through 5. But we sit at 1-0 as Halladay faces Cabrera to lead off the 6th inning.
And he greets him with ball 1. As the 6th begins here, Cabrera is 0 for 2, grounding out and striking out. This is hit high and deep to left field. Snyder runs back to the wall, and he runs out of room. A home run from Cabrera ties the ball game.
See why that run was important, that the Jays left at third base with less than 2 outs? The tying run doesn't come up the first batter. And Cabrera, who has had power in his career, he's had a very good career as an offensive shortstop, doesn't miss this one. Grits his teeth and rips the ball right off the back wall of the bullpen. And just like that, we are all tied up.
With 2 good hitters coming up right now. Joe Mauer first, Justin Morneau second. Here's Mauer, 1 for 2. He tries to go the other way and fouls it away.
Great numbers this year for Mauer. 368 average. Again, that leads the American League. He's already won 2 batting titles. That ties Ernie Lombardi for the most batting titles by a catcher in baseball history, looking for his 3rd, which would be a record.
Ernie Lombardi, you're going back a ways.
There you go.
I'm thinking the Boston Braves.
Not that time right there. Halladay got in on him with that cutter, staying in on his hands.
Brings back Justin Morneau. And Morneau continues to put together some good years in the major leagues. It seems he's only been in the big leagues a little while, and already he has the 5th most runs driven in as a Canadian. As he sends that one back to Halladay, he's an easy out there. But his RBI totals of 622 have him number 5 all time among Canadians. Larry Walker's right at the top of the order with 1,311. So he's almost halfway to Walker. He'll probably get there someday, too.
Walker leads with how many?
1,311. And Morneau's at 622.
That Stairs is on that list also.
Yes, he is. Stairs is number 3. Right behind the late Jeff Heath, who came from Fort William, Ontario, now well known as Thunder Bay. And Tip O'Neill, who was one of the great players of the late 1880s, is 4th at 757. Two strikes on Jason Kubel. Halladay into his windup. Here's the pitch. And that didn't miss by much.
He has that ability to change speeds with all his breaking pitches that he has, the sinker and the cutter and the curve and everything. But when he needs a strikeout, he can reach back and surprise hitters with that fastball.
Grounded to first. Overbay has it. He'll take it himself. And after the home run by Cabrera, Halladay gets 3 very difficult hitters. The Twins, though, have tied it at 1. 40-inch Sharp Aquos LCD TV with LED backlight. The innovators of LCD TV now bring you their best picture yet. Aquos LED, the evolution of LCD TV continues. To enter and find out more, please visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. In fact, we gave away one of those televisions last night when John McDonald went deep. A 3-run shot in the 6th. Here's Lyle Overbay swinging for the fences in a 1-1 game. This is Jamie Campbell tonight with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. And we'd like to wish the best to George Mason, who's watching tonight in North York, Ontario. Tomorrow, George turns 88. It'll be Overbay, followed by Wells, and then Barajas here in the 6th inning. Up and in from Pavano, 2 balls and 1 strike. Overbay is 0 for 2. Had a man in scoring position in the 1st, but lined a shot to Justin Morneau to end the frame. So Pavano on the 2-1 gets a swinging strike, and it's 2-2.
Jays have had their chances against Pavano. He's had some base runners, but he's pitched in and out of trouble. Last inning, they had a walk, a double, and a triple, and all they could score out of that was 1 run. Pavano has had 15 quality starts this year out of his 27 starts. Looking to get through the 6th inning for another one. It starts off nicely for him.
Overbay now 0 for 3 as he is Pavano's 3rd strikeout victim tonight.
Good rotation and movement on that pitch. Going down for Pavano. This is the pitcher that they were looking for when they picked him up for a player to be named later from the Cleveland Indians last month.
Check swing, and that one comes back to Pavano. He throws out Wells for the first time.
That sneaky fastball he talked about in the scouting report. That he rocks back, and he's got a high leg kick, and he's arms and elbows, and all of a sudden the ball's on top of you. Check swing by Wells, and quickly there are 2 outs here.
Back comes Rod Barajas. In late June, Barajas suffered a mild hamstring injury running down to first base. And at that time, the Blue Jays actually called up Kyle Phillips from AAA Las Vegas. By the time Phillips arrived, Barajas had basically deemed himself fit to play. So Phillips, who was not actually added to the active roster but was here in town, watched 4 games from his hotel room in the Renaissance Hotel beyond center field, and told me today that he had the games on the TV. He was watching our broadcasts.
Learned a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And was looking out the window and watching the team that he was supposed to be playing for.
Waiting for Rod Barajas
to re-injure himself.
Yeah. He was. It was a hamstring.
Yeah.
Or something.
He was up in one of those rooms.
Just in case, right?
Wave and a miss, and down goes Barajas. Back we come for the 7th inning, tied at 1.
you by Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Oh, it's the 7th inning, and of course they had to show us the franks on the grill and the sautéed veggies and mushrooms right at about the point of this broadcast, Pat, where I'm starving.
We're up on the 4th floor. If you want to come up and deliver.
If Joe Carter was up here, we'd have something delivered.
You'd have a buffet.
Yeah.
All right. You could go back there in between innings and pick whatever you want.
Here's Delman Young. And he shoots this to left field. Snyder comes over to his left, makes the catch, retires Young. And the 7th inning is underway as Roy Halladay continues to twirl a good game. Not quite the game he had against the Yankees on Friday. He's given up 5 hits, including a home run to Orlando Cabrera.
But it's been a very efficient game so far for Halladay.
Typical Roy Halladay, isn't it?
Yeah, low pitch counts. He has the best pitches per inning ratio in the American League, averaging just 14 pitches per inning. That allows him to go deep in the games. That allows him to finish what he started. And his pitch count in the 7th inning, his ratio is even better in this game.
Ryan Busher pops this one into short center field. McDonald goes out, makes the catch. Our last Flashback Friday is coming your way when the Seattle Mariners pay a visit for the final series of the season here at the Rogers Center. It's presented by the Fan 590 and the Toronto Star, and Jose Cruz Jr. will be on hand as the Jays tackle the Mariners. That is Friday, September the 25th. Jose Cruz Jr. was part of the 2000 Blue Jay team, a team that had 4 players hit at least 30 home runs. Cruz Jr. among them. He joined Tony Batista, Carlos Delgado, and Brad Fulmer. Well, last night, the Philadelphia Phillies had home runs from Raul Ibanez and Chase Utley, numbers 30 on the year for both men, and they became the 12th team in Major League history to have 4 30 home run men. Now, the first time it was ever done, the 1977 Dodgers, Dusty Baker, Ron Cey, Steve Garvey, and Reggie Smith. Consider this. It happened 8 times in a 5-year span between 1995 and 2000.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise is right.
I remember the first time it happened. Lots and lots of power on those teams that you were talking about. Do the Yankees have a chance of people hitting? Well, Teixeira's got 30, I know that, and Nick Swisher now has 28. They have to have a chance of at least 4 guys having 30 home runs.
Well, Posada's in the low 20s. Swisher's up around.
He's 28.
28.
He hit 2 last night. Teixeira's hit 30. A-Rod's at like 23.
26.
26.
Around there. They've got a good chance. 3-2. That's high. Morales draws a walk. Especially in that ballpark.
That's right.
There's a bouncer up the middle. Scudero gets to it and bobbles it, no play. So Punto's on safely. The batter after Halladay had walked someone for the first time, and suddenly there are 2 men on with 2 out here in the 7th inning.
He has made this play over and over and over again this year. We'll see how they score that one. I don't know if there was indecision if he was going to catch it and throw it to second base or just go ahead and make the throw to first base. But Punto is on. They now have a pinch runner at second base after the catch of Morales makes it in the scoring position. Matt Tolbert is going to come in with a little bit more speed. He's the go-ahead run at second.
Here's Denard Span, the center fielder. And they have charged an error to Scudero on that play. So Morales earned the walk. He's now out of the ball game. A pinch runner at second base is Matt Tolbert. Punto aboard on the error by Scudero. Span's a good hitter. He waves and misses there, though, and falls behind 0-2.
Doc has had his way with Span tonight. He hasn't gotten the ball out of the infield. Struck him out last time up with a couple of runners on to end the 5th inning. Infield has to knock this ball down if he gets it on the ground. They're playing deep in the middle of the field. Knock it down, keep it in the infield.
He got Span with that pitch in the 5th inning. But Span does not chase it this time. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 men on here in the 7th. First and second for the Twins, 2 gone. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the leadoff hitter, Denard Span. Here's the pitch from Halladay, and that's strike 3 called. Down he goes as Halladay works his way out of it with the strikeout pitch. And the Blue Jays bring up Edwin Encarnacion to lead off the bottom of the 7th, tied at 1 with the Minnesota Twins.
Homeowners.
Seventh inning stretch at the Rogers Center. Time for the game review, and this, Pat Tabler, has been a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, it certainly has. Halladay and Pavano locked up here into the bottom of the 7th inning. The only run scoring in back-to-back innings. A triple and then a double by Snyder. Played at Encarnacion. Cabrera got that right back with a home run to lead off the 6th inning. That's where we stand heading into the bottom of the 7th. Let's go down to Sam Cosentino somewhere here in the Rogers Center.
Well, Pat, you'll appreciate this. We've seen some bean balls. David Wright, Marco Scudero up and in on Rod Barajas. Major League Baseball has come up with a new helmet. This is the one here on my left, the new helmet. Pat, you used to wear the old one, and maybe even something a little thinner than that in your day, something like leather. But what they've done here is taken a hockey helmet padding and added some exterior and excess padding on top of there. This thing is extremely hard. It's been tested out with some of the players. They don't particularly like it because it's heavier, because it looks too big, and quite frankly, it's not comfortable yet. Still perfecting it. It will be implemented mandatory next year in the minor leagues, and then they have yet to decide on whether or not it will be grandfathered into the major leagues.
Some of the Blue Jays were modeling that helmet in Texas in the locker room, and it's received some mixed reviews. I know Ryan Dempster of the Cubs wore it in a game for the Cubs about 2 weeks ago, as that ball is hit in the air, right field line. Morneau's over there, and he just gave up on that ball, and Punto came in sliding behind him. I wonder if Morneau heard steps there.
I think Punto fell down. I mean, that is the second baseman's ball, because his angle's a little bit better than the first baseman. On that pop-up down the right field line, let's watch Nick Punto. Maybe he gets his spikes caught in the grass. No, he just slides.
And you could see him calling Morneau off. And that explains why Morneau just suddenly stopped chasing that baseball. So here's Encarnacion with another chance as the leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays in the 7th inning.
And now make it hurt. Minnesota Twins generally do not beat themselves. They play great defense.
Mike Redmond is the new catcher for the Twins, as Ron Gardenhire sent Matt Tolbert in to pinch run for Jose Morales. You can always count on Sam Cosentino for at least one show and tell item every week. And it's always educational. Ooh, that one is slapped and caught by Punto.
Yeah, I didn't do the Texas series, so I didn't know they were thinking about doing something different with the helmets, but I'm glad they are. Scott Rowland got hit in the head and had a concussion, and we've seen a few other players.
Edgar Gonzalez of the San Diego Padres got hit in the head in, I believe, July, and he was quoted in an article saying, "The moment I come back, I'm wearing one of those things." And there have been other players, and I think Jeff Francoeur was the one who said, "They look ridiculous. You'll never catch me wearing something like that." Well, if it's going to protect your head,
yeah.
If a 93-mile-an-hour fastball gets away from a certain pitcher, who cares what it looks like?
Yeah, looks are the least things you should be worried about. I remember when the one ear flap helmet came into baseball, and at that time everybody wore the batting helmet like you see on the bases. Nick Leyba or Dwayne Murphy, everybody wore that. When the one ear flap came in, everybody said that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to wear that. It's uncomfortable. It's too big. And it just came in and became part of baseball. I'm sure the same thing will happen with the new helmet.
Oh my, that catches Paul Nauert behind home plate. He's feeling the effects, and watch this slow motion replay. Now George Poulos, who's the athletic trainer for the Blue Jays, is going to go out there and make sure Nauert's okay.
We saw this at the beginning of this homestand in the Yankees series, I believe it was, where we had 3 home plate umpires. I believe it was this series, but it was here where a couple of the umpires got foul balls off the face.
Tom Hallion was behind home plate, and he'd replaced somebody.
Jerry Crawford, who started the game behind the plate.
You know, that crest on their jersey, I believe the Major League Baseball logo was modeled after Harmon Killebrew back in the day when they wore the helmets that didn't have the flaps.
Back in the day. That's a good sign. He says he's okay.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and go.
Of course, years ago, as you know, in the 40s and 50s, guys came up wearing their regular ball caps.
Yeah.
It's a wonder more players weren't hurt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 1 out. And Snyder goes after that rising fastball. Down he goes for the first time tonight.
Gave up a couple of base hits to Snyder on balls that were down. That time he climbs the ladder and picks up the strikeout.
Well, let's see what John McDonald can do now. He's 0 for 2. Hit the ball hard his first time up, lining out to center field. And he hits the ball hard here, but lines right to the left fielder, Delman Young. And the Blue Jays go quickly in the 7th inning. What a ball game. A pitcher's duel between Pavano and Halladay tonight at the Rogers Center.
Your chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to see the Jays in comfort. TD Canada Trust, putting you in the comfort zone.
Every year, the Roberto Clemente Award is given to a Major League ball player who works tirelessly in the community and combines that with outstanding skills in the field. And Vernon Wells was selected from the Blue Jays for his work with the Jays Care Foundation and the newly formed Vernon Wells Perfect 10 Foundation. He's the honorary commissioner of Rookie League and does so much off the field. So congratulations to Wells, and you can vote for him at Chevy.com/Clemente as that ball is bounced foul by the number 2 hitter Orlando Cabrera, whose home run has this game knotted at 1. It's just his 6th of the year, but he was able to take Halladay out of the yard in left field in the 6th inning. This time Halladay has him 1-2 as we start the 8th inning. Doc kicks, here's the throw, and it's off the plate, 2-2. Take you back to the 6th, and here's what Cabrera did.
They wanted it away, and he left it in right after the Blue Jays had taken the lead in the bottom of the 5th inning.
What a great sinker there. He brings it back across the plate and strikes him out.
And he has Cabrera shaking his head, going back to the dugout. That's a strike. He can make the ball go one way, or he can make it go that way. Cutting the outside corner, that's another strikeout for Halladay.
8 of them tonight as he faces Joe Mauer. Mauer is 1 for 3. Strike 1. No need to get the bullpen up. Halladay's pitching well and pitching efficiently. That was just his 90th pitch of the evening. This one skied to center field, but playable for Wells. Mauer's gone. There are 2 down.
A lot of talk about Mauer being the front runner and winning the most valuable player this year with the numbers that he has put up. You know, he finished 4th last year in the MVP voting. And if he does become an MVP, he would be just the 5th Twin to win that.
Morneau.
There's the last one.
In 06.
Rod Carew in 1977. You mentioned the other guy, Armin Killebrew.
This is a blast. Look out. Driven deep right field, and you can kiss that one goodbye. Justin Morneau with his 30th home run of the season, and this one puts the Twins on top in the 8th inning. His manager said it will take one big swat.
One big whack. And that was it right there from Morneau. First pitch, fastball sitting all over it. Halladay struck him out last time on a high fastball. And he doesn't miss it this time. Home run number 30.
Here's the first pitch to Kubel. And it is taken by McDonald. What an incredible play. He's the magic man with the magic hands. But Halladay's none too pleased as he walks off because he's given up the go-ahead home run to the Twins. McDonald is tremendous afield, but the Blue Jays find themselves behind by 1 thanks to this blast from Justin Morneau. It's 2-1 Minnesota. It is time for another Rogers Fast Fact, brought to you by Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. 32 years ago tomorrow, Roy Howell set the club record with 9 RBIs in a game. The Blue Jays in their first year at Yankee Stadium won 19-3. Howell hit home runs off of Catfish Hunter and Larry McCall in that game. As Denard Span moves over to right field, Jason Kubel is out. Carlos Gomez, who can fly, is in. He plays center. As the Twins find themselves on top here, 2-1, bottom of the 8th inning. Scudero, Bautista, and Lynn coming to the plate as Carl Pavano kicks and fires his 99th pitch of the ball game. And that one is a ball according to Joe West, so it's 1-1.
As soon as Justin Morneau hit that home run, Jamie, I watched the bullpen for the Minnesota Twins, and they started getting ready. Pavano has been great. He's given up 6 hits, just 1 run, but now pitches with the lead into the bottom of the 8th inning, and we've seen Minnesota's bullpen already in this series. How very good they could be. Best hitters for the Jays coming up in Scudero and Lynn. And this is Marco Scudero right here, working it. The most leadoff walks to start an inning. And he's found himself in a good hitter's count here.
That's high, and he leads off with a walk here against Pavano. Time now for the at-home play of the game. And it's presented by Burger King, home of the Whopper.
Justin Morneau with home run number 30 and RBI number 100. Just last inning, first ball fastball hitting off of Halladay unties it and has put Minnesota ahead.
Visit BlueJays.com to register for a chance to win prizes with the Burger King Superfan Contest. As Bautista lays it down, the throw just gets to first in time to get him, as he gives himself up and pushes Scudero into scoring position.
It will probably push Pavano out of the ball game. Here comes Ron Gardenhire. A couple of left-handers coming up for the Blue Jays. Their best hitter in Adam Lynn. And Ron Gardenhire wants to talk about it with his starting pitcher.
They have Jose Majares warming up at the pen. We saw Majares last night, and he was dealing. He pitched an inning against the Jays, gave up a hit, but struck out Encarnacion. And there he is on the left, watching to see if he's been summoned into this ball game. And there's your answer. He pulls open the gate. Pavano walks off after a wonderful performance tonight against the Jays. So here comes the new member, and he'll be pitching when we return on Rogers Sportsnet. Ron Gardenhire goes to the bullpen. There is Jose Majares A left-hander who can throw smoke. We saw him pitch last night.
Just about a year ago, Jamie, that Maharis came up from Double-A. It really opened some eyes for the Minnesota Twins in September. He worked 10 in a third innings and gave up just 3 hits. And he has carried it on to great numbers this year coming out of the bullpen for Minnesota. He had a streak of 13 straight scoreless innings earlier this year. And he has pitched really well against left-handers. Throws hard. Mid to upper 90s fastball.
That's whacked foul by Adam Lynn, 1-1. The opponent's average for left-handed batters against Maharis this year is just 133. He's facing a good one here, though, in Adam Lynn,
who's not afraid of left-handed pitching.
Not at all. Lynn this year hitting .284 as he awaits the pitch, and here it comes. The swing is late. It's 1-2. So the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 8th inning have Marcos Scutaro at second and 1 away. Scutaro is the responsibility of Carl Pavano. Maharis gets the sign from Redmond, checks the runner twice, and here he comes on 1-2.
It's nice to have some strikeout pitchers coming out of the bullpen for you. That was on display a couple of nights ago in the bullpen. The last 12 batters that they faced, the Minnesota Twins bullpen, they struck out 7 Blue Jay batters.
Drops a breaking ball, and that gets Lynn confused. He goes down, and there are 2 away now.
You have to respect that fastball that he has. 93 miles an hour. Drops that breaking ball, and it freezes Adam Lynn for the second out. You can see from that replay why he is so tough on left-handed batters.
Here comes Lyle Overbay. The potential tying run is at second base. Maharis with a 1-0. And he goes to the breaker again to even the count at 1-1. Tap back to Maharis. He runs it over, underhands to first, and that does it. The 8th inning comes to an end. The Blue Jays leave 1, and after 8, trail 2-1. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. Play the Mariners on Friday, September 25th. If they turn a triple play, One lucky fan in attendance wins $1 million. In fact, Erickson will donate $1 million as well to the Jays Care Foundation. This is the Erickson Triple Play Challenge as Young goes deep to center field. It's off the wall. Here's the throw in, and it's wide of the bag. So he slides in safely to second with a double.
That's where his power is, to right center field. When he learns to get the head of the bat out and start pulling balls a little bit more, I think you'll see the home run totals go up. But he's got exceptional power the other way. Full extension. It hits it off the top of the wall. Watch how far he can drive this ball the other way. Wells gives up on it because it hits right off the top of the wall. Now, he has a shot at him at second base, but the ball floats on him, and Young has a double.
Alexi Casilla is the pinch runner as Young checks out of the ballgame. 2-1 in favor of Minnesota. Kansas City has an early lead on the Tigers down in KC. That's in the third inning. It's 1-0. So you can bet that these Twins players will be doing some scoreboard watching. And right now they have a 2-1 lead on Roy Halladay. This club has never beaten Halladay. He is 8-0 lifetime against them. And this won't help. Base hit center field. Casilla held at third. Wells brings it in quickly, misses the cutoff man, and so Busher is up into second base.
You know, how many times in this series have we seen Blue Jay outfielders miss cutoff men? No chance to score Casilla. Now, he was held up. He held up at second base, making sure that this ball is going to fall in. Wells sees him and then overthrows Overbay. When he overthrows him, Busher just keeps on going around first base, makes it into second. So now second and third and nobody out.
And that's not helping Roy Halladay any as he faces Mike Redmond, the backup catcher. The Blue Jays bring the infield in to try and cut down the run. Redmond takes strike one. Slash to right field and out of play. 1-2 on Redmond, who replaced Jose Morales as the catcher. There's Jeremy Accardo warming up. He was just brought up the other day from AAA.
Big out here. They need a strikeout or a pop-up or a ground ball to one of the infielders where that run does not score. Infield playing in. Minnesota will probably not use that contact play with nobody out. They're playing for a big inning. Halladay looking for the strikeout.
1-2 and he waves at it, getting him. Redmond strikes out. And that's an important out for Halladay.
And now something to think about as you see how he puts away Redmond with a good breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. They are going to, and Ron Gardenhire has done a good job of managing his team, knowing his personnel. He has brought Michael Kanier out on deck to pinch hit for Nick Punto. When we saw the pinch runner, Casilla for Delman Young, you knew Ron Gardenhire was thinking down at the bottom of the lineup here, oh, hey, I can still pinch hit Michael Kanier for Punto, and then I can keep my second baseman and my outfielder in the game. Kadire has only faced Halliday 9 times in his career. He's got a couple of hits against Roy, an RBI, a couple of walks, and a couple of strikeouts. He has been a good RBI man in his career. He's had seasons of 100 RBIs.
And not that Halliday is your average right-hander, but against right-handed pitchers this year, Kadire's hitting a very respectable .270. And half of his home runs, 12 of them, have come against right-handers. He's got some pop in that bat. 1 out, 2 in scoring position. He waves at that one and falls behind 0-1.
And I think they have to pitch to him. They have first base open, but you have Span on deck who runs really well, and he doesn't hit into a lot of double plays. So they have to pitch to Kadire here.
If they can get Kadire, Halliday has had little trouble with Span tonight. So we'll see where that goes. And suddenly it's 0-2 here. Due for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th. They're 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Wells, Barajas, and Encarnacion. Oh, and 2. And this one lined hard to left field and over the head of Travis Snyder. Kadire comes in, a pinch hitter, and brings home Casilla. Right behind him is Busher. And 2 big runs score here for the Minnesota Twins in the 9th inning against Roy Halladay.
And you know Doc wants that pitch back. Kadire's first pinch hit of the season. It's an 0-2 pitch from Halladay. Wanted to go right back to that curveball. The first pitch that he threw to him and struck him out, but Kadire hits the hanging breaking ball hard to left field, right off that auxiliary scoreboard in left field. And he knows it. He knows he made a mistake. 2 runs will score, and it's now 4-1.
Denard Span rolls it right back to Halladay. He's thrown out with 1 pitch, 2 gone now. Well, Carl Pavano is out of this ball game, but after 7 1/3 innings, he is in position to win his 12th of the year.
And even his record for the Minnesota Twins after they got him from the Indians at 3-3. He pitched a heck of a game tonight. Just 6 hits pitching into the 8th inning. He found himself into trouble a couple times, but was able to find his way out of it. Also, Jay's just 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position tonight.
Wave and a miss from Cabrera. He had the game tying home run in the 6th inning and is 1 for 4. An afternoon game tomorrow. Starts just past 12:30 local time. Brett Cecil against Scott Baker in that one. 0-2 now on Cabrera. Michael Kadire comes off the bench and adds 2. Now a 4-1 lead for the Twins. They got the lead on Justin Morneau's solo shot to right field in the 8th inning. Morneau now with 30 home runs on the year and 100 RBIs. Grounded to third, Encarnacion gets to it. Off balance throw, and it's on the money at first base to get Cabrera. But 2 score in the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays find themselves in a 3-run hole. As Halladay goes 9, he'll need some help offensively. Wells, Barajas, and Encarnacion are due. Join us for the bottom of the 9th when we continue on Rogers Sportsnet. After the ball game, Brad Fay and Martine Gaillard have Sportsnet connected. It's down to 2 bidders for the Phoenix Coyotes. You'll see a feature on Buffalo Bills wide receiver Lee Evans, and they catch up with former Montreal Canadian, now Toronto Maple Leaf, Mike Komisarek, who we had a chance to speak to during last night's broadcast. Here's the closer for the Twins, and he is a good one. Big Joe Nathan takes the hill.
37 for 42 in save opportunities. Opponents just hitting 176 against the big right-hander. He got that 37th save a couple of nights ago here. Had a couple of strikeouts, 74 now on the season, and just 55 in the 3rd innings pitched for Joe Nathan. He's a good one. Alexis Casilla stays in the game at second base after he pinch ran for Delman Young. A couple other defensive changes. Michael Kadire came up with that big pinch hit double, stays in the game in right field, and Bernard Span, who started in center, moved to right, has now shifted over to left field. What a nice player to have to play all 3 outfield positions for him.
No question. Well, the Jays are down by 3 here. Nathan facing Vernon Wells, who is 2 for 3. He's got a pair of singles. Takes a strike.
That is his career numbers versus the Blue Jays. He's been in 17 games. He's had 7 saves, averaging over a strikeout per inning.
Three balls and 1 strike. The Blue Jays need base runners. As Nathan kicks, here's the pitch, and it's fouled out of play. A full count now on Wells with Barajas on deck.
Nathan made his 4th All-Star team this past July. Regarded as one of the top 3 closers in the American League the last few years. Mariano Rivera is up there, as is Jonathan Papelbon.
Here's the payoff, and it's popped up by Wells. There's Casilla, and that's out number 1. Commentator clothing is provided in part by Z Zenya. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. There's Barajas, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Our next broadcast comes Friday night from Comerica Park in Detroit. We'll be on the air at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, as that one is golfed into the seats in left field. It's a 4-game series against the Tigers. Brian Callett gets the start on Friday. Nate Robertson goes for Detroit. Here's the 0-2 as Barajas checks his swing. Nathan's 37th save came in the opener on Monday when he pitched a 1-2-3 ninth.
If there's any nick against Joe Nathan this year, he's given up some big home runs and save opportunities.
Grounded to short. Cabrera goes to first, 2 gone.
You know, not this time, Jamie. A 4th blown save was a home run by Pena, and then he gave up those back-to-backers in Dunsing's last start. But looking good here and getting the first 2 batters.
You can catch every out-of-market game the rest of the year for $19.95 with MLB.tv. In fact, you can see live baseball on your iPhone or iPod Touch with MLB At Bat app. Check details at BlueJays.com, where baseball is always on. The Blue Jays are down to their final out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Edwin Encarnacion is the batter. Hitting just a $184. He tripled and scored in the 5th inning. The only run of the game for the Jays so far. And he laces that foul. It's 1-1.
You know, another good night by Roy Halladay, and he doesn't have anything to show for it. Another complete game. 9 strikeouts for Halladay. Twins came up with some big hits when they needed it. None bigger than that double by Kadire to make this game a little wider.
He'll become the American League leader in complete games with 7, assuming this ends here. Unfortunately for Roy, it's in a losing effort. And if Nathan can finish off Encarnacion, tip your cap to the Twins, who needed a victory to stay with the Tigers. And frankly, the way Halladay pitched on Friday against the Yankees, it did not look good for them coming into this ball game, but they got an outstanding effort from Carl Pavano.
Yeah, Pavano was great, matching Halladay pitch for pitch. Giving up just 1 run. Halladay gave up 9 hits, 4 runs. And again, a 2-1 lead as opposed to a 4-1 lead makes Joe Nathan's job a little bit easier here in the bottom of the 9th.
Here's the 2-2, and that one's popped up. Kadire out in right can see it, and he's got it for the out. The game comes to an end. Nathan gets the save. An important win for the Minnesota Twins, and it comes at the expense of Roy Halladay. For Pat Tabler, Sam Cosentino, and Scott Carson, and our entire Sportsnet crew, I'm Jamie Campbell. Thanks for watching. Time